I thought I'd make a quick argument on the topic of exercising and why you should exercise. And that means if you have to go to a Planet Fitness or buy some weights and lift them, or go jogging, maybe calorie or a treadmill or anything, maybe with the muscles. We just don't get enough exercise in a day, and I understand. But as long as there's a free gym and you can burn 300, 400 calories a day and work some arm and leg every day, by the time you will have a very physical, buff stance. But before I get into that, I have a digression here. So we have to ask, what is value, skill, and work? These are all social constructions exploited under capitalism. We can't wholly define value or exchange value. We really can't define skill, and it's very, very vague up in the air what work is. I do believe, however, in a Marxian sense, that we all love to work. That it's in our brain like woodpeckers hitting the tree and getting wood, like fish eating from the ground, the sea ground, or like monkeys eating bananas, or beavers building dams. That's a normal thing to work, quote unquote. And we all have in our brain, and we need to work because that's what makes us happy. It releases chemicals in the brain, and that's what we're supposed to do. But there are, again, social constructions. We're not fully getting what work is. We don't know really what skill is, and we don't know what value is. It's so vague, and these are the things that are really hurting our society. But as a digression, I must ask, and this goes with exercising, you have to ask, in addition, what is art? And ultimately, you hear this argument about art being everything. Art is everything. You hear that, right? Well, that's a misconception on labor is the source of all value and wealth, which is something David Ricardo has said. You go to art school and they tell you everything's art. Find your medium and do it and make money off of it. Well, not everything is art. That's a very postmodern stance. And so art is not work in the sense of that. Work is a natural phenomenon, as I just said, and everyone does work naturally. However, art is isolated from the action of work. Art cannot be work, and work is not art. Therefore, work is not art. You can't say all labor is art. The artistic expression is not something wrapped up into any form of pomo objectivity or subjectivity for that matter, and that there is a clear class of definitions. One who reads books, he doesn't work to read those books. You can't really call that work. And this goes with the first about what is work, what is skill, what is value. But back on topic, I use this conundrum, this problem, to talk about working out and how there's people who don't believe working out is that art form. You see here is Jay Cutler on the left with basically he's a bodybuilder and he's one of the strongest bodybuilders in the world. And what's his occupation? Working out and exercising, being a bodybuilder. He made his body is his canvas, and he has put the effort beyond. He's transcendental in a weird way. And here on the right, we have flabby Vosh. And what does Vosh do? Well, he sits in front of a computer, talks about fake postmodern socialism and pomo liberal, SJW, sad stories about being a victim or something like that. And it's weak. Look at his flabby chest. I think this guy's also some kind of weird asexual homosexual. I don't know, some depraved decadent lunatic with a beard, but not to bash and bosh too much. I'm just saying compare Jay Cutler to Vosh. Who do you think is going to be more valued or skilled or has work in society? You can't say these are the two same things. What I am saying is that Jay Cutler, to get his body like that, required so much hard work. And Vosh, he sits on the computer and talks the latest in pomo semantics. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find the comic or the comment. There's two, I'm going to paraphrase here with the two examples of this criticism. There's a Twitter user by the name of Guppy who basically tries to write philosophy. Well, one time he wrote a tweet where Guppy, at W_Guppy, wrote that, if I'm paraphrasing here, every time you go out to the gym and work out, there's time committed to read a book. And then everybody, the bodybuilder bros, went after him because he did something really offensive. There was also this kind of really bad webcomic SJWism of a sort where there's this dumb muscle guy lifting weights, and then there's this snarky soy boy, and he says to him, "Look at that guy who works out. For all that time he works out, at least I have an interesting personality that I've learned through him over time." As if Guppy in this SJW comic is inherently hostile to the act of gaining muscles and working out. That they don't acknowledge exercise as an art form, as a commitment to transcendental and paternal values. What they don't understand is this. As you see this little comic, there's like this guy, in bed saying, "Man, I don't feel like working out today, maybe tomorrow." And then there's a picture of the Skullgirls anime hang tie girl or whatever, and he desires that. And now he's in the gym working out. And so that's just something really interesting about where working out leads us to action, to obtaining our skills, and that improving on oneself will get the thing we desire the most. And once we have the body of Jay Cutler, we can have this Eurasian futurism, get the anime girl you desire. I mean, many of the same points of Sun and Steel by Yukio Mishima, he writes about how his weak body being, a feeble homosexual into a strong man and understanding that world and doing incredible transformation to the self, and how mentally he's been able to transform. And so this is a good thing, and this is what the Guppy or that SJW comic does not understand, that working out and exercises, a strong body, you will get leads with ethical paternalism, which leads into the objective of what we truly desire, whether that's Eurasian futurism or not. But, working out, exercising as a work of art can also be read through Ruch's book Game, and as well even in Aaron Clary's Bachelor Pad Economics. This is kind of the classic example of Plato trying to teach Alcibiades. For those who worship books, they think Plato should be the one to emulate, when really this is a wrong guardian fetishistic obsession. In all actuality, I'm saying my argument is we should be worshiping Alcibiades, not Plato. Alcibiades puts Plato's work into practice. Alcibiades is the manifestation of Game and Bachelor Pad Economics. He is the manifestation of the man working out so he can get his anime girlfriend. Yes, that's what Alcibiades is. And so the working out aspect for a man is itself a work of art. In a way, there's this new kind of guardian paternalism. There was this meme of, these giga chads, or these strong muscular men in front of their computers talking to people on the chat boards, and we don't even know if they're strong buff men talking or not, but this kind of Chad, people call it red pill or post-red pill advice of teachers looking out for one another and how to improve the self. That is kind of in itself what value is. And they're offering their skill of wisdom to you and passing it. And in a way, just wanted to point here that work is kind of this commitment that we naturally love to work, but it is ultimately time. Time is the essence to create better art. It is that our lives are finite, and that we can't live for infinity, and we will die one day. However, the time spent is the most important part. Simply by attending 4 years of college does not make one ultimately the master at everything. In that 4 years, or the time committed, depending, maybe one could be ultimately a bodybuilder of Jay Cutler status. Who knows? But so as long as the time is committed and the work has been clocked in, to use capitalist language, one creates a considerable amount of transformation. And I think the art world does not understand that bodybuilders commit more time to get their body than a soy boy staring in front of a computer to perfect cartoon porn or something like that. And to make an allegory here, or a long story short, it is often criticized that the alt-right, of course, was a group of neo-Nazis and a target of neoliberal society. However, the alt-right was just that, an intersectionality of quote-unquote right-wing school of thoughts. However, experimenting with pomo culture warism. But the values of the alt-right, which are supposed to be normal and healthy, that is exercising, teaching, finding the good side, became part of this right-wing ghetto. And everything that was libertine, decadent, and depraved was celebrated by mass of the left, wherever that be some extreme pomo communism, some liberalism. Everything from horrible aesthetics to transgressive punk rock became the core of the celebrated libertine left, as that's a good society. This gave anybody on the right wing more energy. And sadly, this left-wing, right-wing dichotomy is hurting us from understanding that, exercising is a normal, beautiful thing. And paternalism is also a beautiful thing, but sadly has been distorted from the left-wing, right-wing paradigm. And of course, you should exercise is because ultimately you will become more of an intelligent person and more of a strong, determined person, I would say, that knows what they're doing and imitating what I'm saying is real intellectuals work out. And then you can apply the books like a coach to the playing field and into the agora, the town hall, in order to get your points across. It isn't Machiavellianism, but it is a form of physical transcendental transformation and a key to retaining knowledge and putting it all into practice. So, class dismissed. Thanks for listening.